My name is Herman Spence. I'm from God's country, otherwise known as Eddystone, Manitoba. Lived there 99% of my life. I have 12 siblings. 4 of them have since passed on, unfortunately. I still live in Eddystone. I wouldn't live anywhere else. I work for the Manitoba Metis Federation currently and soon to retire.
How many were in your family? How big was your family?
7 brothers and 4 sisters. We were raised in Eddystone. I think Ivan was my oldest brother. He probably left when he was around 20, and the rest of us are mostly stayed around and in Winnipeg. And God's country was home. Yes, it still is home for most of us. We were dirt poor. Don't think we even had hydro till I was in my early teens. First time I saw television at home. I guess I used to go to my grandma's to watch television, watch Hockey Night in Canada on Saturday night, and Beverly Hillbillies. Like I said, we were dirt poor. We lived off the land too. Yeah, we snuck around and we carefully crossed the road with with the game and everything like that. Yeah, just like all Métis did. Almost doesn't seem as exciting now that we have harvester cards, and it's so easy. Seems so easy. I still sneak though for the tradition. Yeah. At our house, we ate deer meat, fried deer meat with mashed potatoes and hot bannock and a little rhubarb relish on the side. It's all out of the gardens, out of the bush, and that was what I remember most about growing up. And that, to me, that's the ultimate Métis meal. I probably didn't even realize what a Métis was until I was about 13 or 14. My uncle, he was one of the original members of the Manitoba Métis Federation, the founding members, and he came to Eddystone and started a local in Eddystone. He was quite the orator. He explained to us who we were and what the movement was and all of that, and that's when I realized what a Métis was. I really didn't know. Like, I knew of Louis Riel. I knew that he was called a trader. That's what I learned in high school, or actually right through school, but I didn't really know that was my people, so to speak. I wasn't aware. Being a teenager going to school to what was a racist school, and I still suffered the racism when I got to school. But it never happened around home. Like, there were non-Indigenous people, there were our neighbors, they were my friends growing up, and it never occurred to any of us to be racist until we got to the high school where there was a few more people, and being a little bit darker skinned, I couldn't really hide it, but there were people that I knew were Métis, and they were lighter skinned, and they hid it. It was what you did, because you got along better if you weren't the dirty Indian. As far as Métis people, what I really don't remember being taught a whole lot about it. I do remember the part about Louis Riel being a Métis and also being a trader. What we learned was kind of final. It was just sort of like, yeah, this is about Louis Riel. Louis Riel was a trader against the government, and he was hanged for treason. As far as the word Métis, I was 13 or 14 when the Manitoba Métis Federation was formed, and we had our first local in Eddystone. I had non-Indigenous neighbors, and we were all friends. We all did stuff. We ran the bush together, and we did all kinds of stuff. We played baseball together, and all the stuff that kids do. And there was never any, not to any point where you felt less than them, because they didn't treat you that way. But until we went to school in a bigger community, and then I found out what it is. I discovered what racism was.
What's one of your favorite Métis cultural activities to participate in?
I would have to say hunting. Is that a cultural activity? Hunting and fishing and just being in the outdoors. That's what I live for, and that's what I grew up on, and that's what I enjoy most. Strangely enough, the solitude is what I enjoy the most. I mean, rather than hearing vehicles roaring by on the highway, I'd rather hear geese or elk in the distance, or birds, animals. Some of the things I enjoyed most was, like, in spring break when I was in school, I'd get to go trapping. Well, it was all on foot, walking and, just going trapping for a week or 10 days or whatever it was. That was what life was. Well, I worked as in an agency for commercial fishing, and so I've been quite involved. Yes, I've always talked about it. I mean, it was hard work. I mean, it was good, hard, honest work, and I'd come home tired. Now I work in an office, and I come home tired, but it's a different tired. The knowledge of the outdoors is what is ingrained in the Métis. I mean, we've always done it. I mean, look at the laws of the harvest, and throughout our history since we were here, that is what it's all about: the hunting and harvesting. In the early 2000s, the Goodon case gave us our harvesting rights in Manitoba. The proverbial duck. Will Goodon went to court, and we won the court case, and we were given harvesting rights across almost 2/3 of Manitoba. Hard to describe it, because to me, it took a while before I actually had that confidence with my harvester card. Like I said, I still feel that nervousness as you cross the highway with a deer, what is going to happen, or with your duck. There are a lot more harvesters now, and they're more visible. That is one thing that has changed. The non-Métis, including both sides, the Indigenous or the First Nations and the non-Indigenous, they all thought that we were going to go and wipe out the game population across Manitoba. And to me, I think we improved it. Because we pay the Conservation Trust Fund, and we're actually contributing back. The Métis have never gone out and wholesale slaughtered animals. We take what we need, and we use it all. I have 3 kids, 9 grandchildren. Our kids were raised in Eddystone, mostly nearby too. Now they're one in Dauphin, one in St. Rose, and actually one lives back in Eddystone. As far as racism, yes, it does definitely exist. There are still racists in our communities. As an example, we just went with my sister to a bank, and the first thing they said, without even a hesitation, was, "Yeah, I believe your band office can help you with this situation." Or if you're not treaty, the Manitoba Métis Federation can help you, and they made that assumption automatically, and you want to be treated as mainstream, but to me that's a very racist remark. I just told my sister, I said, we're brown, we're going to be stereotyped, and it's unfortunate. Don't like it, but it is racism, no matter how you look at it. You hear the comments in the coffee shop, and there are also, I believe there are a lot of people that have changed their perception of Indigenous people, Métis, and they have turned the corner, so to speak, but not all of them have. Well, I think our voice is getting louder. So I think the province and the education system is moving forward. I won't say at light speed, because there are still setbacks. But like I said, our voice is loud, and they are hearing us, and so their loud voices make a lot of votes, right? So unfortunately, I hate to take it all the way back to politics, but that's the way the world works, right?
Was there a certain person you can set the course for the vision that is now today?
Well, I think it came from Louis Riel. I'm sure he didn't envision a housing program, but that was what his intent was, for Métis to control their own destiny. When he created Manitoba, the Métis were a huge part of that. As far as opportunities, I think we can find our own destiny once we get the resources. Obviously through the treaty consultations, I think we're moving towards being able to have our own resources, and without having to answer at every turn to all levels of government. I think we can do it ourselves. We can design our own programs, more tailored, rather than in consultations with the federal government or the provincial government. We can, design our own Métis programs for Métis people. The amount of programs that we can offer now is just amazing. When I first started with the MMF, it was a partnership with the federal government, the program that I was working in. So the rules came from the federal government. We've evolved now to where we make our own rules. Métis program designed for Métis by Métis. How to involve the youth? There needs to be, what would you call it, a mentorship program where the youth, no matter what level it takes, is to keep involving youth, because youth today there's a lot of disinterest, but if you keep pressing it on them, eventually it's just like we talked about with hunting. The great kids and grandkids, I took them out and I taught them all whatever I could teach them about hunting and fishing and whatever, and whether they actually really got deep into it, eventually they might. The biggest challenge would be the Métis people themselves. We need to realize that we do have the power. We can do this. If we're constantly knocked down, we have to keep getting back up. That is an issue with a lot of Métis people. Everyone has got their different perception on how they want to be in society, and if you lay back, unfortunately, that's how you get treated, right? If you don't speak up for yourself and you don't move forward, That's what we need to do. We need to stand up for ourselves, and we are a people, and we are proud, and we're proud of our heritage. I'll tell you something. About 2 weeks ago, we were just downstairs and we were all talking, and one of the youth called me a mentor. I didn't even think about it till later, and I realized that is what the youth need to do. They need to look around and say, okay, there's a mentor I can follow.